Small businesses are an economic backbone of rural communities. However, they often face a number of unique challenges. As we celebrate National Small Business Week, we now want to highlight the key resources for our rural entrepreneurs. The administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Kelly Loeffler, joins us now with a closer look. Kelly, so good to have you with us here in our studio in Nashville. And I know you guys have gone above and beyond to celebrate Small Business Week. Tell us about some of the highlights of that.
Absolutely, Tammy. It's great to be with y'all. Look, Small Business Week should be every week, and this week we really highlight it, not just in our nation's capital, but I've been traveling across this country to every corner to make sure people know that they have a choice in supporting small businesses. Small businesses make up 99% of all businesses across America. There are hardworking farmers and ranchers all the way to manufacturers, 99% of which American manufacturers qualify as small businesses. So we're just so grateful to them. They're job creators, they're the heartbeat of our community and the backbone of our economy.
And what does this week mean for folks in rural America and those mom and pops there in those smaller towns?
Absolutely. Small business in rural America is absolutely vital. I grew up on a farm in a rural farming community. I saw that it really was the focus of our community. I was able to not only work on my family's farm and in our own trucking business, but to waitress in those small town restaurants, and I know what they meant to our community. At the SBA, we're putting rural America back on the top of the priority list. We're moving some of our offices out of sanctuary cities and into more accessible areas by rural community because there's tremendous opportunity under President Trump. He believes in rural America. He wants to bring more opportunities, and we see that not just in fair trade deals, but things like tax cuts and reducing regulation, which we have to do for our farmers and small businesses.
And talk a little bit more about that and there's some specific resources that people may not know are out there and available to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Small Business Administration is a very retail-facing agency. We try to get out across the country, similar to how the USDA has FSA offices across the country. We have Small Business Administration offices, 68 of them across the country. So I'd encourage folks to look at the website, SBA.gov, to see if there are small business resources, because we know that small business is critical to farmers and to communities to be a complement and a partner in what they do in delivering America's food and fuel and clothing supply.
Right. We know this week is set aside to look at those small businesses, but year-round, let's talk about what's coming the next few weeks and months and how people can take advantage of this.
Well, small business is at the heart of President Trump's agenda. When you think about the economic agenda that he's put out, fair trade, restoring opportunities for Americans to export, again, the tariff and non-tariff trade barriers that have been erected over the last 30 years have really decimated our manufacturing base and our export base for farmers. We need to regrow that, and that's what the president's doing. But we also have an enormous tax cut opportunity that will restore dollars to taxpayers' pockets that they can spend at small businesses or save and invest to grow. And then finally, deregulation is a huge part of the agenda. The last 4 years were really devastating in terms of the red tape that small businesses were wrapped up in, and we're working to undo that. And we've got actually a red tape hotline, redtape@sba.gov, if regulations are crushing our agriculture businesses or others, to let us know where we can do that, because the SBA plays a unique role in fighting for small businesses to fight through red tape.
I think that is one of the barriers. People are so scared of they're just being drowned in paperwork. So give that address one more time where they can get help.
Yes, it's redtape@sba.gov, and we're working hard to quantify that and deliver that across every single agency. I grew up in a small family farm and trucking business, and I saw my parents just buried in paperwork. They worked so hard, but then they had to come home and deal with paperwork. It was too much.
Yeah, it does take a lot to run that business. Before we let you go, just a parting message here for those in rural America, because it's tough times right now, and that bottom line is just pretty tight. So what's your advice?
Yeah, it is tough, and just to know that President Trump is fighting for all Americans, especially rural Americans. They were overlooked for the last 4 years. Look, these are the hardest working, salt of the earth people. I don't know if they need advice from me, but because they actually kind of define the saying that a lot of people miss opportunity because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like hard work. And that's what they do in rural America. They get it done, and we're going to honor and celebrate them through our work at the SBA.
Yeah, and you know, to be able to start your own business, be your own boss, it may not be on a farm, but it can still be in rural America.
It's the American
and have your
dream.
own business. It is the American dream. Kelly, thank you so much for being with us today. This is Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Kelly Loeffler. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.